everyone, and welcome. I am delighted to be joined by Marcia Anton, who is the founder and president of Anton Financial, located in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. Unlike the rest of us who need virtual backgrounds, Marcia is surrounded by the beautiful backdrop of her office, which is fantastic. Yes. Marcia's been an advisor for over 20 years, and she has an amazing team of 8.5. Yes, I said half. Marcia has 5 advisors, including herself, 3 support staff, and this delightful critter, Bacon. He is the Chief Comfort Officer and has a place on the website and in the introduction package, and is a main greeter of all clients who come into the office. Marcia's built her practice around serving the needs of firefighters and police officers in Hawaii. And it's interesting because when I work with advisors, many of them get into this business because there's a desire to help other people and make a meaningful contribution to the lives of others. And for me, her niche market is so special because she's actually helping those who on a day-to-day basis actually serve and protect and help us. So it's like you've got double good karma happening there, Marcia, for sure. So I wanna ask Marcia a few questions. And again, thank you so much for being here, Marcia. Tell us what inspired you to become a financial advisor.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for inviting me, Sherri. I really do appreciate it. I feel strongly about women in this industry. And I also want to thank you for mentioning Bacon. Yes, he is the most important team member to all of us and to our clients as well. With regard to inspiring me into becoming a financial advisor, actually, honestly, it was not something that I had intended to do. It was more something that I stumbled into. I grew up in the restaurant business in the Philippines, and we've had the restaurants for 42 years. So when I was in Hawaii, naturally, I was more akin to tourism, hotel industry, etc. But then I met somebody there who was in the financial services, and that's kind of how the whole thing started. I have to say it was the best career choice I could have made. The amount of positive impact that we're able to make in people's lives, like Sherri said, particularly I feel for our police and firefighters, you know, for us, they are the everyday heroes, as well as obviously more recently, the healthcare workers, etc. But I do feel that the impact, the positive impact that we make is what has kept me continuing to do this. And Sherri said over 20 years, this is actually my 24th year now in this industry, specializing with the pension system for our local government employees in Hawaii.
And there's 2 interesting things about what you just shared, Marcia. First is the fact that, you know, coming from a long line of restaurateurs, I can only imagine there was a somewhat of an expectation that you were going to carry on that torch. And one of the things that we're striving to do in this initiative around The Women Are Here is, you know, break the barriers and expectations in many areas. So how difficult or easy was it for you to tell your family, I'm doing something else?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Definitely the expectation was to go into the restaurant business. And in fact, most of my siblings and my cousins, you know, for generations have gone into the restaurant business. So it is a little bit of a break the mold for me. At first, my mom didn't even believe that I worked in an office. She thought that I was doing all my work from home. And it wasn't until they started to visit in Hawaii and they started to see that this was, quote, legit, was there a lot of support behind it, because for them, legit really meant, you know, brick and mortar restaurant. And that was really the extent of the experience that we had in our family as far as business goes. So it took a little bit of them to understand what it was that I did and how I helped clients, and then started to build my team. And of course, they are very, very, very proud of me. And again, I couldn't be happier that this was the career choice that I decided to go into and be able to build my own team and help support the advisors that are underneath my firm as well.
That's amazing. And again, it takes courage to do that, first of all. And I was delighted when you said it was the best decision I ever made. Yeah, Some of those best decisions we ever make, they're not the easiest. And we know that we're sometimes disappointing and letting other people down. But they get over it, right? And
they get over it. Yes.
They get over it. The other thing I want to mention about you know, just your passion around working with the police officers and the firefighters is, you know, Marcia is like the superstar of client advisory councils. Okay, I've got to share the story. You know, I started working with Marcia back in spring of 2019, so a couple of years ago, Marcia, and we were talking about her client advisory council, which she's had going pretty much as long as she's been an advisor, and some of her members have been in that council as long, and they are so fiercely loyal to Marcia. She was telling me a story about one of them who actually ended up going to the hospital and was having an emergency medical situation. And who does he phone in this situation? He phones Marcia to tell her he won't be attending the client advisory council dinner that evening. And I was like, oh my goodness. But it's just it's a testament to how much they really truly value and appreciate you as well.
They do. And I think the big difference too is the advisory council is made up of police officers and firefighters. And so not only are they fiercely loyal to me and my success, but also, of course, they are very loyal to their own brotherhood, right? They know that the more they're able to help me, the more they're able to help their fellow firefighters and police officers. And they just want to make sure that they end up in good hands, that they're taken care of, that they're able to retire with the same success that my own advisory council has been able to retire with. And so, yes, they definitely take it very, very seriously. They take their roles very seriously. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful group to work with.
Excellent. So, $1 million question. What do you love about what you do?
You know, I have to say again, it's really the positive impact. I mean, there's so many things I love about it, but knowing that when we come together with a client and we put their analysis together and solve the puzzle for when it makes the most sense for them to retire, that is really very satisfying, not only for us to, quote, get the answer, but also to see them being so giddy. I mean, it's almost like a childish giddiness, and they go from being concerned or being apprehensive about retirement, you know, can I really do this? What does it mean for the rest of my life? To seeing this picture come together and them recognizing that this is something that can be reality for them. And then they really start to flip to just thinking about, wow, what can we do for the rest of our lives, right? A lot of them have dedicated, you know, obviously at least 25 years of service because we need to have 25 for them to qualify or be at least age 55. And so many, many years of dedication to public service. And for them to recognize that there is something else outside of this is just so exciting for them. So then it becomes very exciting for us. And I feel that that positive impact, not just to them, but really to their entire family and potentially for generations after that, is really what gives us a purpose and what makes this all worthwhile for myself and my team, obviously, as well.
Fantastic. And share with me a little bit about what being a woman in the financial services industry has been like. What has been your experience in terms of strengths, weaknesses, good, bad?
Well, you know, for me, again, luckily, it's been very positive, I have to say, for myself. You know, I think that my style, both with my team and with my clients, is much more a motherly style. It's much more very empathetic and compassionate about their situation. It's interesting because a lot of the spouses as well love us. Sometimes they love us more than the police officer or the firefighter themselves, because of the fact that they know that we are there to take care of their spouses and their families as well. And this extends not only until the point of retirement, but through retirement. So often, you know, when unfortunately there's a death in the family or there's an accident or whatnot, we are their first phone call because we literally know the system like the back of our hand and we know where all the money is. So they always tell us we have so much peace of mind coming with your firm, knowing that if anything happens to me, all my spouse or my family member has to do is to make one phone call to you and you will be there to hold their hand and connect all the dots. So for me, it's been a very positive, thank goodness, experience as a woman. And I think it's actually been a very significant advantage in my case.
I love how you're drawing on some of the natural strengths and characteristics that women bring to relationships, probably to a greater degree than some men sometimes, just around that compassion and caring, which is such an important piece. It's so much more than numbers and analysis. People want to know that you understand their situation and that you absolutely care. I know too from working with your team that, you know, your mantra is simplifying retirement, and
Yes.
it sounds like you're just nailing it with the way that they respond to you, and you're the first phone call, you know, when it comes to anything related to their money.
Yes, yes.
I'm going to talk to Marcia a little bit about too her team, because you know we just talked about culture and how do you create a dream team, and you know Marcia does some pretty incredible stuff as a leader. And I had the opportunity to meet all of her team in person during our work together. You know, I had an opportunity to do a site visit. Marcia invited me to come there and work directly with her team. And when a Canadian is invited to Hawaii in December, it is a no-brainer. We are hopping on a plane. So I was delighted to meet Marcia, and I was stunned and overwhelmed, but not surprised at some of the great things she does to lead her team, to create an amazing culture. These people work so hard. They're so devoted. They're so loyal to Marcia. And now I know why. So first of all, and I got to experience this part as well, is Marcia actually provides breakfast and lunch for her team every single day. Now, when I say breakfast, you know, there was bacon and eggs, and lunch there was like salmon and tuna and sushi and salads. I mean, it was quite a spread. I mean, so she's devoted to that. And I also know that she had taken her team to go see a Backstreet Boys concert, and that she engages in what they call the Fab Four, which is, you know, on the weekends where there's a long weekend, there's a bonus day. Not only that, they engage in Sweatpants Wednesday, when they've dedicated the time to working in the office but not seeing clients. So just a culmination of so many cool things that are thinking outside the box, but really create ohana, which I've learned is the Hawaiian word for family. They talked about their Anton ohana. So tell me a little bit about like leadership as a woman, and the things that you've done for your team and how it's impacted how they respond and you know excel within your practice.
Well, and thank you so much, Sherri. And yeah, you remember all of our incentives and all of the little things that we put together to try to keep everybody motivated and excited, you know, to come every day and to do as well of a job as they can on any given day. And we just wanted to, I just keep striving, not only for myself, but for my team to find balance. And I think all of us struggle with that, you know, the whole work-life balance situation. And it's interesting because it started as, okay, maybe I'll take some days off during the week. But then I realized too that my team really could use it as well. And so that's how the Sweatpants Wednesdays came along. It's not really a day off, but it is a day off from all the activity that happens on the other days. And again, just interesting, wearing the sweatpants and being able to come in whatever you're comfortable in makes a huge difference to them. And we all look forward to this so much. So definitely something that will stick. And then the other thing is, again, that Fab Four Friday. So basically every time a holiday falls on a Monday, we take the Friday off. So then we have a 4-day weekend. Believe me, the team is currently lobbying for, how about when a holiday falls on a Friday, can we take the Monday off? And so we're considering calling it Sleep In Mondays. I don't know if we can afford to take that many days off right now, but, you know, certainly up for consideration. And again, the way I feel about them, like Sherri said, is ohana, it's family. I want to make sure they're taken care of, and providing the breakfast and lunch lets them have the peace of mind that they don't have to deal with that on top of getting their kids ready for school, on top of trying to get to work, you know, having something healthy to eat. So we make sure that the fridge is fully stocked, the kitchen is fully stocked. I have an employee that loves to prepare. She just loves to prepare the lunches. And so it's perfect for her. That portion of her job is just something she really enjoys. And we all love that. You know, again, making sure that I understand that family comes first for them as well as for me. So when there's things that come up that's an emergency or unexpected, there's not even a question in my mind to give them the time away, because I know that when they're here, they're completely dedicated and they're 100% present. And so when they can't afford to be here because family calls or outside calls, then of course that's something that I don't hesitate, and they know that as well.
And the interesting thing about that, and again, because I've met your team and I've spent several days working on site with you guys, is, you know, there's nobody there that's taking this for granted or taking advantage of it. It is amazing when you give someone that ability to have that balance, like you said, that we all strive for. We all have priorities outside our work. It just means that when they're there 110%. They're giving everything
Absolutely.
they got. And,
yes.
and it's the perfect segue into the next question, because, you know, Marcia and her team have worked tirelessly over the past couple of years. I just have to give them so much credit because, you know, they went through the Pareto process with me, and there's a lot that is covered. And I will say that, you know, it's not that the information is necessarily new. I mean, it's all out there. Everyone can read it, digest it, watch a video, but what separates the best from the rest is the people that have the discipline to do it. And Marcia and her team have the discipline to do it. So I don't even know where to start here, Marcia, because I know when I came to visit you, we were still scheduling appointments on a paper calendar that you took pictures of on the weekend, so you knew how to prepare for the week ahead. And when I asked you guys, what's your main source of, you know, communicating and keeping track, it was Post-it notes. So I'm happy to say that I think just based on the transformation that Marcia and her team gone through the last 2 years, 3M might have felt a little bit of a hit because we're not buying quite as many Post-it notes. But just share with everybody your experience going through that. You know, the effort, the reward. You know, how that was for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I have to say, Sherri, it's not short of me to say that you and Pareto Academy have completely changed our business and our practice and the trajectory of it, and just the peace of mind that we have that everything is just in a much more systematic manner now that we have it. And like I explained to you, you know, obviously through the years, at that time 22 years, obviously I've been successful at implementing different things that I've learned from different conferences and different workshops. But the missing part was there wasn't somebody like you and Pareto to really connect all the dots for me and to pull the projects that I had worked on through the years and to get it to the finish line. So what I've found, the very first thing was when you did the gap analysis and we saw where all the gaps were, and we thought, well, we actually had been doing pretty well, but to realize that there were so many things we could identify that we did maybe 60% of the way, 70% of the way, and we just needed to tweak it a little bit to get it over the finish line so that it would be meaningful to us. That was really, really enlightening for me. One of the things, and we still say it today, you know, every time somebody mentions something or they're talking about a list in their head, we always go, hey, vapor to paper, put it in paper, right? And that was such a big thing for us because, like you said, everything was in an Excel spreadsheet, in a Post-it, in a list somewhere, or it was in our head. And so for us to be able to implement Salesforce and systematically transfer all the things in our head and all the things in various Excel spreadsheets to a system where it could all be clearly documented and there was a step-by-step process to it, has really quieted the noise in my mind. I used to have a lot more mind noise trying to keep track of everything that was going on in my practice and the different divisions that I had. So that was huge. The vapor to paper and the Salesforce obviously was really huge transition for me. And last, that I think really was very important, that I was very hesitant to do, that I think a lot of advisor offices are hesitant to do because it is a huge job. is really the classification of the clients. You know, it really is. It's taking a look at what is this book that we've put together and taking a look at how do we segment it where we're still giving the care that every client deserves, but not make the mistake like I did of giving the same level of care to every client. Because I think every client deserves great care, but not every client deserves the same level of care or even the step up to exceptional care. Because again, it's not sustainable. It's just not a sustainable model. And the bigger your practice grows, the more difficult and challenging that is. So Sherri really, really helped us get a handle on how do we qualitatively and quantitatively look at this book and look to see where clients need to fall. And I think that's been a huge game changer for us. So we know exactly where our attention and our most attention needs to be.
And the interesting thing is, and I know this was especially challenging for you, was the fact that, you know, we didn't want to label them ABC, 1, 2, 3. So we came up with our own system. Ilima, Pakaki, Mele, flowers of Hawaii, and it made everybody feel better about it.
Yes, yes. The different flowers, definitely from the most revered, the Ilima to the Miley to the Pikake to the Plumeria, you know, made us feel better than just saying A, B, C, D. So I think however way it's going to work for you, it needs to be done. Sherri and Pareto are there to help you feel good about it and also help your team know which direction you need to go as far as the service work that needs to be provided.
Well, I'm going to wind down, Marcia. I really appreciate you making the time and sharing your experience. And I know that when we started embarking on this journey, we talked about the year of Marcia and, you know, what that meant to you in terms of creating more work-life balance for you so you could have some more time out of the office, and that really you needed the systems and the team and all of that clicking in place for you to have the confidence. So I know you're still working on a few projects, but are we getting close to achieving the year of Marcia?
Well, I think that considering we've been trying to do the year of Marcia probably for a decade, I do think this is, and I can feel, not just think, but I can feel that this is the closest I'm getting to the year of Marcia. More so because, again, systems are in place. They're not in my head. I don't have to worry too much about what's going on. And also that the team is very happy with the fact that these systems are in place. It really empowers them to do their job much better. It empowers them with responsibility, and also knowing that they need to help me find some balance. So they're taking on more responsibility as well. And so I think we're coming very close because not only do I have my vision of it, but the team has the vision of the year of Marcia. And certainly my husband, who's been very patiently waiting, has the hope and the vision of the year of Marcia, where I get to take a little bit more time off, get to go home a little bit earlier every day or come in a little bit later, and not be so concerned or worried about what's going to happen if I'm not here to keep it all together.
That's fantastic. Well, I hope the year of Marcia is coming sooner than later, and you certainly deserve it with all the hard work and effort that you've put into this process, Marcia. Again, I hope I get to see your team again, and I wish them all the best. Thanks again for your time today, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Sherri. I really appreciate it. And yes, we look forward to another visit from you once COVID restrictions are lifted and you don't have to be stuck in a hotel room. So we definitely look forward to our continued coaching. And thank you so much for having me and for everything you've done for our practice.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. Bye, guys.